Welcome to TamikaHall.net, where I tell you about my life in ministry, motherhood, and pageantry, and of course, all in a fabulous pair of stilettos. On this special episode of Soul Food and Stilettos, we're talking about how to make vegetable crab soup. It's a blustery day here in Maryland, and we are riding out Hurricane Sandy, so no better way to do it than by making some great soup. Special thanks to my mother-in-law, Charlotte Hall, for this recipe and for putting it together for us. Let's go ahead and get started with these raw vegetables. Make sure you go ahead and chop up your celery, onions, and you're also going to have about a dozen of potatoes. Now, we like to kind of chop it up pretty thick. I mean, you want to have a nice mouthful. You don't want it too fine, because as it begins to cook down, then of course your vegetables are going to get very soft, and you don't want to have everything chopped too small. Let's go ahead and get that broth going. Start off with about 4 cans of chicken broth and add equal parts of water into your pot. Add in your seasoning, and for a full list of the seasonings that we use, make sure you go to the website to download this particular recipe. And you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you do add in some great seasoning, because as you can see, this has a lot of water in it. So adding in your pepper and your cayenne pepper, Obey seasoning. Come on, we're from Maryland. We know all about the Obey. Adding in some salt. Now, my mother-in-law used salt here, but you can actually substitute that for Mrs. Dash. You don't want to use a whole lot of salt because, for example, your Obey seasoning has a lot of that in there. Once you get your water seasoned the way that you like it, make sure you add in your raw vegetables, okay? We're going to actually be using a bag of frozen vegetables, but you don't want to add those in until later. So add in your raw vegetables, stir everything up really, really well so that your seasonings can go throughout. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to cover this and you're going to bring it to a boil. Now we're getting ready to go ahead and take this to a whole nother level. And as you can see, we're going to be using tomato paste, tomato sauce, and you're going to add that right into your water. Now just think about this. The more tomato paste that you use, it's going to give that more of a tomato taste. So we're using 2 cans, about 20 ounces each of tomato sauce, and we only use 1 can of the tomato paste, because again, the more paste, the more tomatoey, I don't even know if that's a word, but the more tomatoey everything is going to taste. And then what we're going to do is add in those frozen vegetables. Once you add in the frozen vegetables, make sure you stir everything together. And the paste is actually going to cook down, so you don't have to worry about trying to dilute that or anything. You have enough water in there for that, right? Make sure you cover that, and once it comes to a boil, then we're ready to go ahead and take it even higher. I mean, can you believe that we're even going to take this any higher? Well, I'm telling you, we're going to. This is when we're getting ready to add in our noodles. You're going to have about a bag of no yolk noodles. Now, we're actually using about a bag and a quarter of another bag, but as you can tell, we're making a huge pot of this because we're going to be serving about 7 to 8 people with this. And what we are using here, we're actually using about 5 pounds of crab meat. Now, this crab meat is completely fresh. My father-in-law actually picked the crabs. I think that's what you say. He actually picked the crabs. Now, you can use imitation crab meat, and you would do the same thing. You would wait until about this time in the process to add the imitation crab meat in there. Using imitation crab meat is going to make this a little bit sweeter, but hey, that's okay if that's the way that you like it. Now, what you see here is we're actually pulling out the bay leaves. We added 4 bay leaves into this, and before you actually serve this and allow it to sit, you're going to want to take those bay leaves out, because the longer that it sits there, it's going to continue to season your soup, and you don't want the soup to be overpowered by the taste of bay. And then there you have it. Let it sit for about 15 minutes, serve it up, and there you have a beautiful bowl of vegetable crab soup. For more great recipes like this, go to TamikaHall.net, and to go directly to our recipes, click on soulfoodandstilettos.com. Have an awesome day.